Okay, remember, they're changing my voice. So here I am in Morgan Hill again, downtown Morgan Hill. I think it's a little later than I was here the other day. The weather's a bit nicer. One of the few bars here that's just a bar, the Morgan Hill Tavern. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the chapters I've recently gone over, Ezekiel 37 through 39. Gog from the land of Magog. The chief priest, in a sense, the chief prince, in a sense, a chief priest and magician. A bad person whose army is said to be like a cloud coming over the children of God, the true Jews, not people who rely on the flesh, but people who are in the divine order. And it doesn't matter your heritage, it matters if you scramble and obey God through me and maintain the boundaries of righteousness and justice. So Gog from the land of Magog, his army is like a cloud. And it's said that in these last times, in these last days, in these end times, that they come up with an evil scheme. And those who aren't able to resist the ways of Gog from the land of Magog, okay, they fall victim to their inability to resist the evil scheme. I was going to go right here for a second, but it's a lot of fumes here. This is a cool little place here in the middle of the road. So their inability to resist the temptation to be a plotter, to be a schemer. The schemes of folly are sin, and people detect a mocker. And those who plot evil will be known as the schemer, right? So they're in the spirit of Gog and Magog versus in the spirit of universal pinpointed moral precision. So their inability to be moral puts them on Babylon and Gog's side of the debate. The beast, the false prophet, the dragon, the prostitute, what have you. We see that the prophets talk about the prophecies against the various groups of people, right? And they cover all the nations. Isaiah 34, all the nations. So the cloud of God's anger, the cloud of handing them over to Gog and Magog for refusing to do what is morally precise, causes them extreme harm, extreme difficulty. Because one must understand that the word martial is marital scramble, and I, Christ, am the bridegroom. The top martial arts, the word point is in top scramble. The point of life, the point of martial arts, the point of doing what's right. So as we see the failure of humanity to scramble to be morally precise, we see that their failure is rather significant. The words precision and decision are connected. One has to masterfully think. One has to be wise. One has to use sense. One has to use insight and discernment. One has to persist and insist on universal pinpoint and moral precision, to persevere. Now they try to change my voice to try to make it sound corny or propaganda-like or preacher-like. But people should still hear my true words and understand that I'm correct and that the opposition view is very, very wrong. They're from the cult of the flesh. They pretend that if people did what was morally precise and they scrambled to come up with a sound economic plan, they act like it wouldn't work, but it would. If I got a bunch of people from MIT, from Harvard, what have you, people who meant well and said, design a sound social and economic system that is universally fair, it shouldn't be very hard for them to do so. But people keep trusting these privileged oppressors and the token nerds that roll with them who refuse to do what is sound. They refuse to do what is fair and just and right. And when you refuse to do what is right and to fight the good fight of faith and moral precision, you sink into iniquity, you sink into depravity. You sink into the failed states of existence, the states of being that have caused this country to plunge into darkness. This has caused this planet to plunge into darkness. The cloud of Gog and Magog is over them, and they're sinking into iniquity. And some people want to say things like, oh, no one wants to hear this. People like that are instrumental in causing 25,000 people to starve to death every day on this planet. 9 million a year, 3 million of them children. There's 100,000 children that are homeless in the streets of America right now. And who's doing something about it? It's like only me. Everyone else is controlled opposition. Logic would tell you that if you're controlled opposition and the plan is to keep social engineering with certain kill rates, then you're just a component of the problem instead of part of the solution, which is the soul you shun. So come out of Babylon, come out of sin, come out of folly, come out of a state that's undisciplined, and come into universal pinpoint and moral precision, and discipline yourself to do what is right and be righteous and be Mr. Right on the right path, or Mrs. Right on the right path. Thank you.